Yes, that is on my website, Bomboni.com, if you would love to book your own from me. Okay, I offer everything on there and more, like OnlyFans, Patreon, Cameo, my book, my merchandise, my ASMR albums, which I highly recommend you check out, as well as Reiki, Tarot, Coffee Cup, Candle Wax, and ASMR custom content. And you can use those coupon codes in the corner at your own benefit. That's for you, for being so awesome. So, here we go. Today's video is a health scare story time. So, I did do a health scare story time before, talking about my past sufferings in terms of health in my life. I'm okay now. I'm better. Just a disclaimer, like, before you listen to any of this, this is not what I'm going through right now at all. Far from it. I feel fine. I feel totally okay now. And I believe personally that what matters is in the present moment. So do not judge my experience or discriminate based upon your own personal experience. This is my authentic, raw, honest story, and any comment whatsoever that is just not constructive will be removed, as always. So, please be kind, because everyone goes through something different and has a personal choice of their life and how they choose to live. So, with that said, let's begin. And I didn't want to make this video, but I was going to talk about it because it was something that really was unexpected and something that happened back in around, I would probably say, June, July of 2021. So maybe a good 6 months ago, 7 months ago. Now, I'll start from the beginning. So I was feeling very burnt out for about a few months, just really suffering through. I've just recently come across many changes in my life as well. And I've been adjusting and doing different things, like modalities for healing that would normally, for many people, be considered like superstition or, not real healing or whatever. But I personally I have not visited a doctor in years, and that's just my personal preference. I choose to heal thyself with the diet intake and the way I live my life. So this was when I was working literally every day, like a Babylonian slave, like literally, I kid you not, literally day and night, all day pretty much. And it was not the most efficient, productive use of my time anymore, because my body started to literally give out. And I didn't realize the warning signs until I started being really lethargic and slow. And even in some videos, maybe I did my best to cover it up, but it was you almost could start telling it was slurred speech. I looked like I was maybe tipsy. I looked like I wasn't. Oh my god, I never am on camera. Maybe just once. But I was literally I was talking like a 12-year-old. Literally I was yeah, I went to go buy new furniture, and the furniture, I went to buy the furniture, yeah. No, I kid you not, there's literally, if you look back some videos, maybe if you look in June or July, I was talking like that, and I kept slurring my speech, and I'm surprised a lack of people notice, but I guess I know myself better. That's not how I talk normally. And I didn't put two and two together what it could be, why am I getting brain fog? Why am I getting really, really tired all the time? I would have to take naps just to survive. That's what it felt like. And I would sleep 12 hours and I would still be tired. And I was not wanting to work. I didn't want to do anything. I was pushing it too. I started this new routine. I like to, spend my morning a certain way. And so, I had to cut back a lot from my life to not be, so overbearing and hard on myself anymore. But I wanted to really push myself, stretch myself, and grow. I started was just like really so tired and upset with myself, and it still wasn't, like I was doing a lot, but I still wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied with what I was doing. So let me get to my point now. So one day I went to go cook myself a steak dinner. I made like fried a couple steaks with I think mashed potatoes and God knows what else. I had like yogurt on the side, pickles, cheese, whatever the heck. Doesn't matter. Bread. I love bread with every meal. But then I went to eat. I finished eating. I think after I drank some water or seltzer water or whatever, I went to go like wash my hands, and I went to the sink and I bent down to go wash my hands. You have to bend a little to go wash your hands, right? Because the sinks are not usually like this high. And I just went whoo. Like my mind literally went whoo. Like my head felt as if it just spun twice in the same direction at the same time. And I thought, okay, if this is vertigo, this is what it feels like. Let me breathe. Let me tilt my head back, giving myself a moment. I had to get some water again. Like, okay, that's nothing. It's not gonna happen again. So I went to go continue. The same feeling. And okay, this is really strange. Maybe I'm just low blood sugar because I just ate, and sometimes it crashes after you eat, right? And then I finished washing my hands, and then I went to go sit or lie down a bit. I'm like, okay, let me just relax, let me watch something, let me just chill and wind down. I did a lot today, I'm overheating, let me not start the dishes right away. And when I lied down, when I sat down, I didn't feel it at all. But as soon as I started walking, the dizzy feeling again. It's like little spots of dizzy spells I've had. And I said, okay, this is odd. Maybe I actually have been sitting and lying too much, Maybe I need to do even more. Maybe I need to go for a run or something. And I went to go do the dishes, and it just got worse and worse as the night progressed. And it never got so bad to where I'm nauseous. Sometimes it would, but it would get to a point where I would be upset and almost crying because I would feel as if there was no one to help me, no one to give me answers. And again, that was my own fault. I acknowledge that I never went to seek professional medical help, because I'm very stupid. I'm very stubborn, honestly. And I should have, because what if it was something in the brain, or knock on wood. So I guess I have this fear of the unknown, right? There was this fear of well, I can't say fear of the unknown, because then I would go get help, right? I wouldn't last almost 2 months with this if I had a fear of the unknown, right? And refusing help. So yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe it was too much pride looking back. Maybe I had too much pride that I was in denial, my health is superior, I have better health than most people, I don't need this, So yeah, admittingly, it must have been that at the time, because yeah, so were that to happen again, I would definitely go, because there's an issue if that keeps coming up and you've already kind of figured out what the cause could be, and if that doesn't work, you definitely need to go, right? You can't wait for that kind of stuff. But it hasn't happened in a few months, so like I said, I'm fine now. But I personally believe if you're fine, you're fine, right? If you feel fine, you're fine. I don't believe in the whole you're not fine if you feel fine. What? Does that even make sense? But anyway, so I would say ultimately that you do what's best for you at the end of the day. But for this, I thought vertigo. I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I used to have this little ear infection when I was a kid, and then I had it again a few years ago from too much cold water in the ocean, and it was a really windy day, and I got really sore. and I must have infected something. So long story short, I thought, oh my gosh, maybe that's the ear giving me issues, maybe it's like hitting my brain interior or whatever. Like, I thought all sorts of things. So I started doing vertigo stretches and exercises and all sorts of things, sleeping with a different pillow, sleeping more. So I was even sleeping even more. I was forcing myself to take more naps and rest during the day, a lot of water to hydrate, healthier foods, and nothing for weeks would work. 1 or 2 weeks would pass. I would still feel dizziness. I said, okay, I need to slow down work. So I was starting to now, instead of every day, work Monday through Wednesday, and then if I still have bookings, I still do them every day. But bookings are easy for me. I enjoy them so much. I love doing them. So it's like, I enjoy and love ASMR as well, but ASMR takes way more time. And so I stick to ASMR Monday through Wednesday now, and nothing was working. And then I realized, okay, what am I eating? So I look at what I'm eating. Oh my god, I realized I was literally starving myself, like nutritionally, when I put 2 and 2 together. I was in such a hurry some days from overworking that I forget to eat. I skipped lunch every day for months. Almost every day, okay? I would instead maybe get a quick Eggo waffles or like a snack bar, those like Cliff bars or whatever. And I was looking at the ingredients on these things. I'm like, oh my god, they have too much of one thing, not enough of another. And I literally tipped my nutritional scale in all sideways. It was bad. It was so bad. And I said, oh my gosh. And when I looked up what could be the cause, all of the signs and symptoms everywhere I researched and looked, and people say, oh, you shouldn't be just doing research on Google or whatever. Hey, you know what? That has helped me personally through so much. I've saved so many thousands of dollars just by literally researching on my own what could be the cause. And you're not going to get answers from one page, right? It just doesn't work that way. You have to actually dive deep into it. So and compared to your own personal experience and knowledge and education, of course, as well. So I have a more holistic approach, a natural therapeutic remedy approach to things. So I put 2 together. I'm like, iron deficiency, anemia. That's it. Because I've even had friends who are anemics, and they've had all the signs and symptoms. They had the same issue, discoloration of the tongue, the toes, pale skin. They get cold, I guess. So it's oh my gosh, literally it's this, right? And they get lightheaded, dizzy. I've always been kind of faintly, sometimes I can get a ghastly appearance easily, if I really am not careful with my diet, if I don't eat enough. And yeah, so I don't really suffer with it that much anymore. Blood sugar used to be more of an issue when I was in my teens, in my early to mid 20s, but nowadays it's really not an issue. The only thing I had was the dizziness, obviously, because I was not eating right at all. I was actually going through some guilt as well at the time, because one of my family members recently passed away. Long story short, yeah, it was not good. I won't even go into detail what happened, but it was not good. A horrible way to go. But I felt guilt because they were trying to reach out to me at the time, and I never reached back. And I honestly felt some guilt. So I was like, when you feel guilt, you don't even want to eat sometimes. And I just felt so depressed. I was like, oh my god, now this, and then now everything going on at the same time. And so that was a huge contributing factor, and it haunted me for some time. And I was like, wow, maybe I could have done something differently, or reached out or helped this person, but then I knew they couldn't be helped. And it's I felt so much inside that so it took a while to get over, and I didn't want to admit how I felt at the time, because it was weird, because I hardly even knew this person, but at the same time they were still family. And I was like, okay, well, they reached out for a reason. One of the only people I guess they must have reached out to, and no one was there to reach out and help, and they were so far away. And so I felt all sorts of things and conflicting feelings and emotions, and I wasn't eating right. I was like, oh my god, everything seems to get worse and worse and worse as time goes by. What's going on in my life? I was so confused. Sorry, I'm talking fast, but yeah, it's just a lot. And then I never really shared this story express things I used to go through on this channel. And maybe you get some insight into, like, for yourself, maybe that something you need to hear. But I realized after my research I needed iron, vitamin B12, folic acid or folate, and vitamin C to ramp up the iron, and then drink a lot of water, because that can actually help you absorb the nutrients more. So after all of that, I started getting more foods like that, like chicken, beef, eggs, spinach, tomatoes, peppers, oranges, etc. So I swear within like 2 weeks I started feeling better. And they said it takes like sometimes even a month or more. I was like eating even more than I should, to the point where I was like constantly flushing out every meal, like, not to go into TMI, but like literally just anything, but not to take anything. Like I didn't want to have to take, over-the-counter iron tablets, right? Like I was like not ready and not about to do that, right? Because I'm like, what if I take too much and then I tip the scale? Let me just start eating healthier and even more and better, and not starve myself anymore. So yeah, I was literally doing that at the time, and then maybe that's why people were like, oh, you look so skinny and pale now, like, whatever, people always say, like, I look too big and then I look too small, whatever, like, whatever, that's your judgment and criticism. But, yeah, so basically, that was not a fun time, and, my mom, God bless her, like, literally, she helped me, and she cooked so many hearty meals, like, stews and soups, and, like, vitamin, nutrient-packed, nutritious food, like, that we grew up with, and, I was just eating, like, literally junk, like, from just nothing. Like, I wasn't eating good meals at all. I was hardly cooking for myself, always on the go, always eating poorly, and not taking care of my health and my rest that I needed, and, spending too much time on the wrong things. And so when I started to even, like, get some more sunlight, go outside more as well, and it's a healthy diet, I felt better and better until I started glowing again, and I felt back to myself. I had no more brain fog. Everything started to be clear. I started to have clarity, and I started to feel better, and obviously, like, attract better things as well, because, when you're in a low state. And it was really sad, actually, because, like, I most of my friends, are literally living far away, but, like, even them, they weren't, like, really reaching out at the time, or really, I guess, caring enough to, like, really ask if I'm, like, okay, like, if I didn't, like, totally pass out today, like, but, I'm not gonna sit here and feel sorry for myself. I don't believe in that. I'm not gonna continue that pity party, I just move on from it, toughen up, like, sometimes you just need to get tough in life and just suck it up, right? Like, that's just my mindset about it. So, it is what it is, I guess, and, sometimes you can only help yourself, and that only makes you stronger. So, yeah, the right people will reach out and ask for you, so there you go. But in your lowest moments, you don't, I feel like, vibrationally match your friends sometimes, because it's like they're not in their low moment, and if you are, it's like they don't reach out because you're just not vibrationally matched. Like, it just makes sense, right? Like, it's the only thing that makes sense. Because then when I felt better, like, everyone started talking to me again. I was like, oh, now you're here, right? Like, when I needed you, you weren't. So whatever, it is what it is. So like I said, moving on. I'm not gonna be bitter about it. Let's just move on. That was the past, and sometimes you realize who your true friends are at the time. But anyway, so if they can't be there in your bad moments, you shouldn't be there in your good moments. So I'm just saying, honey. But anyway, let's continue. Yeah, and people didn't even believe me. They thought I was, like, lying, or so. Like, people still think I'm lying to this day. Like, they didn't believe me, or like, oh, I'm exaggerating, or I'm like, oh, I was like 26 years old. I shouldn't be going through what a 60-year-old goes through. Yeah, okay, like, whatever. Like, again, you don't know my body. Like, everyone is different, right? Like, we're all raised and, like, just different. So, like, just accept it and move on, right? Like, we just need to stop criticizing what other, like, you don't know what their story is, what their journey is. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I did it to myself. I did that to myself. I literally wasn't eating. I wasn't taking good care of myself. I did that to myself. There's no one to blame but me, right? At the end of the day, and that was my fault and my problem, and I should have known better. But at the time, I had to go through it because I've never been through something like that before. And had I not, I wouldn't know what the other side is like, what the brighter side is like. You have to go through darkness to get to the bright. So if you don't go through darkness, you won't know what the bright is. It's just not, like, always be on top of your game, and you shouldn't be hard on yourself for that. That's not what life's about. You're not here to be in perfection. Dang it, you know? It just sucks when people think that way, because it's like, it's just not reality. Eventually something will catch up to them, and they'll understand that concept, but, you know, I don't wish that on anyone. I'm just saying overall, it's just really frustrating to have been through so much garbage, you know, and then it's like, I guess sometimes it's just, I'm speaking from my own perception and kind of deflecting a little bit here. I know that, I acknowledge that little dark side of me, but there's moments where you feel pessimistic for sure, but then you're kind of more realistic about, like, yeah, like realistically, yeah, I needed to go get some attention medically at the time for that, and you know, who knows what damage that did too, right? Like, we don't really know. Oh, and it was also starting to make my eyes sore, so I knew that as well. Like, that was definitely the B12 and all that stuff that I read. All of that, like, yeah, flashed appearance, all that stuff. I did my research, I asked questions, you know, even from people who have suffered with that as well, and there's forums, and like, yeah, it's literally that, like, everyone is saying it's that, so it is that, like, it is that, like, literally, I've been to clinics before, like, oh, for a simple problem, do you know what they do? Like, they like, literally printed out, like, it was ludicrous. I was like, I'm never going inside one of these ever again. They literally printed out, like, Google, like, research, like, the same thing you could have done, what the problem is, and I already knew all that, like, everything on the page. I'm like, oh my god, I literally wasted my time and came here for nothing. Like, it was garbage, literally. So I'm not saying all facilities are, I'm just literally saying that this happened to me, and it was just like, I was like, okay, I'm literally better off doing this by myself. I don't, like, literally, in the literal sense, I was raised personally by family who always did things on their own, you know, like, they would rather chug vodka and do their own operation than, you know, I'm exaggerating, but, like, that's literally the mindset we have. So yeah, we're like, suck it up type of mindset. So that's just who I am, and I accept it for all it's worth, right? Like, we're all different. If you personally go every time to treat something, go right ahead, please. I'm begging you, continue doing that, because that's what works best for you. Don't listen to my dumb behind, because yeah, it was really foolish and dumb of me to play around with my life like that, and that's not funny, and that's not okay, and you shouldn't do that. But anyway, that's my story, my experience of what happened with that. Do not feel sorry for me, do not sympathize with me at all, okay? But don't be hard on me either, because, you know, we all have to go through silly, stupid moments to realize how stupid we are, okay? Anyway, yeah, that's not funny, because it's also very selfish, because we're something to have happened. Who's going to take care of me? Who's going to watch me, right? So you do have to take responsibility over your own temple, but also treat yourself with the loving, kind, caring respect you deserve. And when you eat good foods, you can focus more. You know, people don't realize this. Like, if you don't eat good food, honey, the same's gonna happen. Like, you're not even gonna be alert. How are you gonna drive in traffic, you know? You put two and two together, it's like, oh, you know, you're more prone to things like accidents and stuff like that. You know, if you don't eat right, like, it all comes down to that. Your exercise, your diet, your lifestyle choices and decisions. It's like, you know, and no one really knows what the epitome of health it really is at the end of the day, because then you could do all that and still be in poorly. So, you know, at the time I was also kind of maybe overdoing it with my exercises as well, and I had to stop that for a while, especially with the dizziness. I thought, oh, you know, I'm dizzy now, I need to do more workouts. Yeah, that probably made the problem last even longer. Oh, and also my mother went to the hospital once for the same issue she had, and all they told her, literally, I'm not kidding you, is like, drink Coca-Cola. Like, I paid like a few thousand for this, like, literally. So anyway, yeah, because the blood sugar and stuff like that. So, like, sometimes you can just get, like, poorly and frail from just, you know, what you consume. Really, that's all it comes down to. And I guess Coca-Cola actually helps you absorb better, which is weird, because every time after I drank it, I felt better. It was weird, right? Like, it's like, okay. But anyway, I don't recommend that. I'm not saying this works. All this is just, like I said, allegedly what, like, happened. But basically, yeah, different things for different people, right? I'm an independent type of person. I'd rather help myself. That's just how I was raised, and that's what I continue to do, because because that's what works best for me with my given resources, and that's my experience, and we're all different, so let's just accept it and move on. Can we say that? Amen. Alright, hallelujah. Alright. That was my story. Thankfully, I've gotten through it. I'm much better now, obviously, and I am more alert, awake, refreshed, alive every single day, and I've had to just really pull through, and you guys have helped so much with your kind compassion, with understanding that, this wasn't an easy journey, and, even the things I've been through before, were contributing slowly to that, and needing to just let go and move on from a lot of things, a lot of old toxic people, situations, circumstances, and I felt like it was just very cleansing, and, also, we were going through, like, a very large spiritual awakening and vibration, so I feel like some of that was also, playing into the role of, like, if you believe in that higher metaphysical stuff, people were experiencing more dizziness during that time because of an evolution of a humanity, like, connection, where, we're kind of upgrading as a humanity, and, when you sort of upgrade, you sometimes feel lightheaded more frequently because now you're evolving and changing in your vibration, and I felt like that I had to go through that, and I do believe in God, and I feel like He was working through me and on me, and I was clearing out a lot of old garbage, a lot of my old flaws, and I feel like all of that cleansing and removing was making me as well. So it was a mix of everything. It was a mix of the stresses, burnout, and all of that upgrade energy I feel like we all been through in the past year that contributed to how I was feeling. And there's more than that, but I won't even go into it because, let's just not go into it right here. But I think you know. But thank you very much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. I just want to get it off my chest what had happened earlier this year. I like to keep my distance with these story times, even if it's like something juicy happens. I always wait a few months before I do a story time instead of jumping right ahead into it, because it just allows me to process my emotions and heal through whatever I need to go through better, rather than speaking from pain. Does that make sense? So, thank you very much for listening to my story. That was my experience, and like I said, please trust whatever you do best. Do not listen to me. Do not do what I did, and do not repeat the same mistake, because it bears repeating. That's not the best idea, right? Like, don't listen to some random YouTuber on the internet. Go do your own research and whatever works for you, okay? That's all I'm saying. And thank you so much, and I love you all so much.